Hey guys, what's going on? So this video, continuing the process of putting the 6262 in the car. So last video I kind of said I was going to go over the plans and stuff I had with the car, and I kind of forgot to do that in that video. So this video will actually be the video about what I have planned, and also the install of the 6266. So the first issue I had with this turbo was it's considerably bigger than the turbo that was on the car. So the turbo comes out further this way than the old turbo, so it interferes with this water neck. This hose basically either wouldn't fit or it would fit with while being kind of squished. I mean, you can get it on there, but then you can kind of see how the compressor is basically right inside that water hose there, you know. So that's no good. So what I did to fix that was I made a new water neck. Well, I didn't make one. What I did was I modified one. So this is the same type of water neck, and what I did was I sectioned it, and I'll put in some pictures of it here. But what I did was I sectioned it and angled it so that it angled downward. So already see, you should be able to already see how big of a difference that angle is there, where it just points kind of straight down, so that brings the hose, whoops, so that brings the hose way down and away from that compressor. So that was the first issue. Kind of a big issue, kind of not a big issue. It's a big issue if you don't have access to a TIG welder. Not so big of an issue if you have access to a basically fully functioning machine shop. So, so we took care of that. The second issue I had was the outlet of the turbo was a 2.5-inch outlet. Alright, so like I was saying, the second issue was the outlet of the turbo. So the outlet was a 2.5. So through certain dealers you can get a 3-inch outlet with this particular housing. It's a .63 housing, but directly through the dealer, or directly from Precision, which is how this was ordered, was straight from Precision, it only comes with a 2.5-inch outlet. Be careful, because what it says in the on the website is it says 3-inch, but it's 3-inch OD, not 3-inch ID. So it's a 2-inch outlet, or a 2.5-inch outlet. And don't confuse the flange with the actual turbine size. So granted, the old turbo had a 3-inch flange on it, but the outlet, the exducer on the turbine, you can't really see it in there at all. So yeah, the exducer on the turbine is actually smaller. It's only like 2 inches. It just balloons out to 3 inches. So this one's actually 2.5, and then it's just a straight 2.5 out. So it's not a big deal. It's not gonna inhibit flow or anything, because it's just it's a short run. You know, that gas is so fast and hot coming out of there. What you want is to be able to expand as fast as you can coming out of the turbine, or as close to the turbine as you can. That's why a lot of like cars run like hood exits and stuff like that, but this should be good. I started to transition this a little bit with a little burr bit, but I was like, it's probably fine the way it is. I mean, transitioning it definitely would be better, but that's some hard metal and hard to do, so we're just gonna send it like that. So that was the other thing. Had to weld that on. Had to bust out my TIG skills. I haven't TIG welded in like 4 years, so. And I was running low on argon, so the weld's not the prettiest. And I also didn't back shield it or anything, but it's good. I also was gonna put a bead on the inside, but I just kind of decided against it. I'm not that good of a welder. I mean, and I also had the exhaust housing off the turbo, and I welded that, just so you know. I didn't try and weld that like on the car, but or on I didn't try and weld that like on the turbo. I actually removed it from the turbo and welded it. But anyways, so had to do that. That was the next thing. The other issues I had was the feed was a different size from the old turbo. This is a 1/8 inch in NPT or NTP NPT, and the other one was slightly bigger. So that was an issue. And the oil drain is also a different size. So this is like your standard TO4E size oil flange, whereas the old one is like a, it's more it's like closer to what Garrett runs. I think it's a smaller spacing between the bolts. So basically what that means is I gotta create a new return line for that as well, but not that bad. It's just, I was hoping it was just going to be, oh, just throw it on, bolt it up, and go, but not the case, but not the end of the world either. Alright, so let's take a moment to talk about my plans. What's going on with the car, why I decided to get a bigger turbo, and why I kind of gave up on my goal of running 10s with the turbo that was on the car. So, first time the car trapped 130 or 127, I knew 10s were possible, and I assumed that I'd be able to go out and just do it, and it was only going to take like a few passes to actually do it. That sucks. There we go. That's a little better. Alright, so the goal was I was going to go out and I was just going to knock a 10 out, after a few passes. Well, a few passes turned into a lot of passes, and I'm kind of worried that the engine might be a little bit hurt. There's a very slight knock right around like 2,000 RPM, and it only happens while you're driving. It's like low load, lugging the car around. You can kind of hear what sounds like a little bit of a knock. It goes away as you get higher up in RPM or as the load changes. But still, kind of worries me. So, does it worry me enough to pull the engine apart right now? Not really. But it worries me enough that I don't think trying to run a 10, basically, I feel like I don't have a lot of time left to accomplish this goal before something bad happens. So, I'm still going to try. I'm still going to do it on this engine before I reopen it, but that's one of the reasons why I got the bigger turbo is, well, one, the bigger turbo is for another goal. I was happy at 500, now I want 600, but I'd also like, it will be easier to run a 10 or drive it deep into the 10s, if I can give it another 50 or 150 horsepower, depending on how things go. So yeah, I'm perfectly fine running a 10.6 at like 145 if that's what it takes. But yeah, I just feel like the car is kind of on borrowed time. My intent was to go out, run that 10, and then pull the car apart, because I knew that it was time for a refresh. I was trying to pull it apart, new bearings, all that type of stuff. And the 10 just hasn't come yet. And now we're going on like a year. Well, no, 6 months probably. So anyways, yeah. So that's the idea behind the bigger turbo. So I have some parts on the way. I feel like the knock might be bearing knock, but it also might be top end. Well, not top end, but small end of the rod knock, because it sounds more like top end noise than it does bottom end noise. So normally you can tell rod knock because it knocks on every rotation of the crank, the repetition, the frequency of it. This sounds like it's double that. It sounds faster, which is why I didn't initially think it was knock, because it sounds like top end noise. I thought maybe it was lifters or something like that, and it could be lifters. I don't know. I won't know until I really get in there. But I feel like it might be the small end of the rod, because when I put the engine together, I had problems getting the wrist pins to fit into the rods, so I honed the small end of the rods. One of those rods I honed probably just a little bit too much, and I kind of felt like it was going to be a problem when I put the engine together, but I figured it would be a problem that I deal with at a later date. Now is that later date. So so yeah, like I said, it would have been nice to be able to, like I said, it would have been nice to run the 10 on the old turbo, but like I said, I just don't think that's going to happen. It's not realistic at this point. So that's why I got the 6262. That will definitely make things happen. So I was also, so another thing, you know, in the works is I was contacted by Max Speeding Rods, or Max Speeding, however you say it. I was contacted by them on Instagram. This is like the third or fourth time they've contacted me, wanting me to review their products. I think that's just the way they do their advertising. You don't have to be a big YouTuber. They'll just, if you have any type of social media presence, even if it's only a few thousand subs, they're willing to send you stuff because they know videos like that get views. Like the fact that my wastegate video has like some 90,000 views now and I only have 3,000 subs, so they know that that's a good way to get basically advertising for the cost of whatever their product is, whatever it costs them to manufacture their thing. So they contacted me before and I was like, well, you guys really don't have anything I need, so no thanks. With my decision with the engine going on, well, they do make rods for the Miata. So they're Chinese rods, but most rods are. There's very few U.S. manufacturers that actually manufacture, like forge their rods in the United States. Most of the castings come from overseas, come from China, and then the finished machine work is usually done here, but in some cases they make a completely finished rod and then just etch their name on it and, you know, whatever. So anyways, I've done some research. People have had pretty good results with Max Speeding rods. So I may use those. Like I said, I fear that one of the top ends of my rods may be bad. So the option is to replace the bushing in my rods or just put a new set of rods in. So I might just put a new set of rods in because, hey, they're free. So there'll be a video of that coming out sometime soon, next couple of weeks or so. So yeah, have to excuse the dragonflies that are buzzing around the fucking garage. Let's see, what else is there? What else is going on? So aside from that, while the engine's out and I'm rebuilding the engine, I'm probably going to finally put a cage in this thing. I'm torn between buying a kit and welding the cage myself, but in order to do that I'll have to buy a TIG. I currently don't have a TIG torch or a TIG welder. But I want one, so I'll probably buy one. But at this point, especially with me going for 600, a cage is probably a really smart idea. In fact, it's necessary. So that will be another thing on the list. As well as some paint and body stuff. I kind of want to repaint this thing. It looks good in the videos and looks good from far away, but it's really not that great. Really made a mess out here. This is the type of mess that happens when you think something's going to take only a couple of minutes and it turns into a whole ordeal. Alright, so hopefully this doesn't leak. It's my first time welding aluminum in like 4 years. Looks good. I'll reuse that. But yeah, I don't think I really have a whole lot more to say. far as what's going on, so yeah, just basically to paraphrase, what the current plan is strap this big boy on and give it the old Hail Mary. I don't plan on turning it up too much with the way the engine is right now. But I may get greedy, I may get there and it may do something amazing, and then I may just go ahead and give it full send and see what happens. Pray it holds together. As far as when I'm going back to the track, I'm not really sure. I mean, I'll have this up and running by the weekend, but it is super hot right now. The middle of August in Florida is not a good time to be in Florida. So what I'll probably do is probably wait till October, maybe. I mean, I may wait till, it may cool down a little bit next month, but probably not by much. So yeah, I think the best bet's probably just to wait until, because when the weather's nice, you get to optimize that performance. Chances of going fast are a lot better when it's not 100 degrees and like 10,000% freaking humidity. Anyways, I'm going to keep plugging away at this and get it back together. Doesn't have to be done on camera. I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what my plans are, what my goals are. So, high 10s on the way the engine is now. And then after the rebuild, low 10s, maybe a 9. Well, only time will tell. But, like I said, I'm going to finish this up, and I'll talk to you guys later. Until next time.